Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Diz Unplugged, episode 1218 for the week of May 9th, 2023. I am your host, Rhino, today, and I am joined by a lovely bunch of coconuts. See, I told you I was going to say it. I even wrote it in the script. Like Lord. Erica Resnick.
Hi, friends.
Teresa Eccles.
Hello.
The master coconut himself, Craig Williams.
Ahoy, hoy.
Before we get started, to remind everybody that this and everything that we do here is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. They're experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. And when you book with them, it costs you nothing extra on your trip. You help support the channel and all the content that we produce. And you get the services of a wonderful Dreams agent, much like Teresa Eccles, on your side. So check them out, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
Can't have both, wonderful or me.
Wonderful or me. No, I actually have in my notes to say something nice to you today. It's way down here on like page 2. So
I can't wait.
Get ready. It's coming. Julie bawled her eyes out last time, so I don't think we're going to get on that level. But
oh, Lord.
Yeah, I just berated her for like an hour, but I didn't. But
okay.
Before we move away from dreams too much, we should probably talk about we have an upcoming Disneyland event this August. John has updated the specifics for how to book a room for the Diz and Dreams Unlimited Travel event that is happening on August 4th, 2023 in the event thread that you can find in the podcast section of DizBoards.com. Here's what you need to do. You're going to reach out to a Dreams Unlimited Travel agent to book your room. Just
reach out. Hold your hand
Reach out, touch faith. And if you don't have an agent, you can email John at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com and he can set you up for one. Set you up with one, sorry. As for the details, in case you didn't see them over there on disboards.com, we have rooms held at both Disney's Grand Californian Hotel, which is my favorite, and excuse me, I cut off the and spa, and Disneyland Hotel. The room nights we have held are for August 3rd through August 6th, 2023. Rooms may be available at the group rate before August 3rd and after August 6th, as long as the group's department allows. These could go away at any time, so make sure your agent knows if you want to extend your nights either before or after the weekend, and they'll quote you accordingly. So we've got some pricing here. First up, Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa is going to be $585 per night, plus 2% ATID assessment fee and 15% occupancy tax, or $684.45 total per night. My goodness. Disneyland Hotel is $440 per night, plus 2% ATID assessment fee and 50% occupancy tax for $514.80 total per night. There are a limited number of rooms at these prices at both hotels, so act fast. Also, remember, it doesn't have to be just you. You can grab 3 friends. Split that 4 ways. That seems a lot more reasonable to me.
Good idea.
Honestly, that pricing is pretty good. I know it seems like a lot of money, but for
those
Disneyland
hotels are
areas,
a lot of money. Yeah. All 3 of them are a lot of money to stay there, so it's really it's not on the exorbitant side for what they can get up to, which is also I'm sorry, like I love Grand California because it has multiple. You have sit down dining, you've got quick service dining, you've got a lounge downstairs. The Hearthstone Lounge is a nice place to end up. You've got an entrance right into the theme parks right there, which I don't know if that will be open or not for our event, but it does make getting in and out of that park, it changes your life. Especially when you get a little wet on Grizzly River Rapids. That's the only time I will do the ride is if I'm at that hotel, because then I know I can just quickly run back and change before the chafing happens.
Yeah.
So.
And there's something to say with Disneyland in particular about proximity. Like, there are so many close by off-property hotels, but I don't know, something about the Grand Californian in particular, it's like you look at the price on it and you stop and think like, well, I could be just right across the street at an, still on property, but at one of the Good Neighbor hotels. And you're like, and that would save me like 100, 200, way more than that usually. And then you have the experience of walking through Grand Californian and literally ending up at your hotel room in seconds after you're done with your park day. And it's like, yeah, this is nice. So much to the point that when Corey and I had to stay at Disneyland Hotel the last trip, it was like, I hate this. It's so much longer to get back to the hotel. I love the hotel theme. There is something about just being right there. And like the last stay that Rhino and I had together, our room was like right looking out at the big giant bear inside.
Yeah.
Right across from the rapids, so it was like that's how close we were. We just walked in and we were right up in our room.
We were like, we were only, I feel like we were like 2 or 3 levels up too. So it was like right in that tree level. You could you felt like you were literally in the park because it was just like, I could be like, hey Donna, pass me a drink. But I don't know anyone named Donna, or I don't think that it's legal to throw someone a drink into the hotel either. But yeah.
It's fun. I'm very excited though. It's going to be my first trip to Disneyland with the baby.
Oh, the baby.
Yeah.
Oh, the baby.
I looked at the hours for when the party's happening. And I'm like, I don't know how this is going to actually happen because I don't think you can take like a 9-month-old and stay out until 1:30 at night. But
Well, Craig,
we'll see.
you clearly haven't lived yet.
I mean,
I don't know what you're doing on your weekends.
We
but-
tried to do it with that DVC party, and it did not work out for him.
I was going to say, I watched the baby for that. I got him during the sleeping times, which was nice. Just sat there. You just got to make sure you don't knock the stroller over or anything like that. But John hopes to get ticket sales started in the next week or two, so you're going to want to book your room and get that secured now so you're ready when those tickets become available for the event. We already have our rooms booked. You're going, right, Teresa?
I am.
We're all going,
Yes,
right?
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
first time to Disneyland.
Yeah, I'm excited to be a part of that too. I love being there when it's somebody's first time at Disneyland because it's so much fun. I've been lucky to be at Disneyland once or twice with you, Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. I know at least once. I mean, I'm pretty sure because remember the people prayed with us in the,
Yes.
in the thing. Man, we had a weird experience, but it was fine. They were very nice and polite people. But yeah. So there's a lot of really I don't know. There's a lot of. I like that joy that you kind of get to see happen. I love to see a true Walt Disney World person end up over there. So I hope some people in this event are also maybe making it their first time to go out there. But yeah, like I said, we already have our rooms booked, and as I'm reading in the script here, are very excited to go. Craig wrote that in there for me. Look at the
We
camera.
are very
thumbs up.
excited
No.
to go.
I mean, technically, I copied that over from John's email.
Oh,
so.
okay. Perfect, even better. Isn't there a writer's strike right now? Shouldn't we not be doing this? Anyway, good luck to those people on the picket line, though. Also,
Yeah.
because I have a lot of friends out there right now who are out there. But the party is going to be on August 4th. It will start with a private reception in the Paradise Gardens area from 9 to 11:30 with food, drinks, and some exciting guests. At 11:30 p.m., the party moves to Pixar Pier until 1 a.m. and will allow unlimited rides on Incredicoaster, Toy Story Midway Mania, Pixar Pal Around, Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind, Jesse's Critter Carousel, and Silly's Symphony Swings. On August 5th, there is going to be a live podcast recording at Disney's Grand California Resort and Spa, and more of those details will be announced as we get those. So
Fun.
it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good time. It'll be fun being on that pier out there. And
Yeah.
and Incredicoaster at night is the best time to ride Incredicoaster. And it's tough lately because we're in the summer. We're hitting those summer seasons. So right when it gets dark, that's when they start doing World of Color. So it's you've got to be there at just the right time, and it usually doesn't reopen.
I believe that's
till after
changing
that.
now.
I hope, because when I was there last month, the app says the ride is open. You can't trust the app. The app and the website both said that Incredicoaster would be open until park close, and when I went over there, it was closed by the World of Color. So just something to be careful of. But anyway, while we're still talking about all this stuff here, I just want to mention that we are going to be doing our Patreon after show. For those of you unaware of that, that's at patreon.com/disunplugged. And on there for our after show, it's really for anybody in any tier, any donation level. You are welcome to join us. It's a little bit, sometimes can get a little risque. So, maybe the young ones want to put the earmuffs on for that. Or maybe this is your eat dirt in the backyard, expose them to the world moment, whatever it is. I believe children should have to eat dirt. That's how they get the germs, right? How they get,
Yes.
How they build up their immunity.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my mom told me, so I don't know. She might have just been lying, but
She spooned you dirt.
but yes, Pete will be joining us for that as well today. He told us ahead of time, so if you're interested in, if you want to ask him any questions or anything like that, he'll be around for that, and that usually starts about 5 or 10 minutes following this show. We have a little bit of a snack break. So yeah. So that is that. Everybody's doing good. Everybody's happy. Everybody's doing well.
Yeah.
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 I'm looking at you. She's like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I finally went to the gym. I took a little week break, but I went back, so I'm feeling good.
That's good.
Yeah, I needed a little break. I was tired, but I'm feeling good.
You eat too much lasagna. One day you're gonna wake up and hate lasagna.
Yeah,
talk to Garfield
exactly.
about it. Yeah.
And my mom is visiting me this weekend, so I'm really excited for that. Can't wait to see her. It's been a minute.
That's fun. That's
Yeah.
good.
So
Craig, how are
everything-
your parents doing, by the way? I never checked back in.
Doing great.
Good. Awesome. Teresa, before we get started, you weren't on the show a couple weeks ago, and I did want to say something to you because I feel like we've known each other for a little over 8 years, and I am trying to get in the habit of practicing just saying kind words to people because I feel like we get
Lord.
very overloaded lately with a lot
Okay.
of negativity with everything that's happening and around us and everything. And I just want to say it's been 8 years is a great time, and you are somebody who I think always, every time that you're in a room, you make my day better. And I'm always happy that you're there. And I know you've gone through a lot over the years since I've known you that I don't think anyone ever gives you enough credit for being like a strong female, strong person, strong mother, strong wife, all this thing. You're so many facets, and I just think you always make me laugh, and you just make the world a better place just by being a part of it.
Oh my! I hadn't
So-
cried in weeks.
I just, I was looking to mess up that pretty makeup you got on today, so you're welcome. So I wanted to get that out there. Sorry, the first part ran a little
Can
long.
I have
right?
a rebuttal on that?
You can. You want? I wasn't fishing for a compliment. It was just something.
No, I'm not going to compliment you.
Good. Okay, cut her off.
No. You're always sweet. You're a good kid. I think of you as the son I never had. Wait, I have a son.
Oh God. Sorry,
Let's not
Max.
go there. Sorry, Max. No, thank you. I appreciate your
No,
words.
I just-
And
I-
everybody deserves to hear good things, and crap goes on. And I'm living today. Each day is a new start, right? Because
Yeah.
we're not guaranteed tomorrow. Tomorrow might not happen.
And that's what I try to. I just think I feel like lately everything that we talk about anywhere, the news, Disney, anything like that, espouses a lot of negativity and anger and stuff like that. And I just don't want to. It's like what you said. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. So I just am trying to put in practice of every day, just like telling somebody that is important and means something to you. Just put something out there for anybody. Stranger. It could be a stranger. It could be a cashier at
Wow.
Target. Who cares?
Okay.
But you just say something nice to somebody, and I feel like it makes.
I
It'll
try to
feel
do
better
that
for
every
you,
day,
feel
yeah.
better for them, and it'll make us all a better place, I think.
Somebody, right?
Yeah,
It's just life. Don't take it too
Yeah.
seriously.
exactly. And with that, we're going to talk about some news too, which
Oh,
is not
goodness.
today, luckily. Only at the end do we have some stuff. But so, all right. So moving on to the news, there was a bunch of big announcements from yesterday, including the return of the Disney dining plan. Theme park reservations are going away. Hold for dramatic effect. For a lot of guests, but not everyone, plus so much more. So Disney says they've been listening to guest feedback because, McMouse is always listening from up in his spaceship. And they want to poll out I just said poll. They want to roll out even more updates to improve the guest experience and simplify the process of a Walt Disney World vacation starting in 2024. I got
Roll
the
it
poll
out.
on my mind. I am
Okay.
sorry. What else is new? If you're wondering when you can book that 2024 Walt Disney World hotel vacation package or tickets, well, guess what? We got the answer. It's May 31st.
May 31st.
What day of the week is that?
Craig,
It's
I
midweek. It's midweek.
Don't care to be stumped.
I
It
was
is
more
a
asking.
Wednesday.
Okay, so Teresa, you'll be able to be on the show that week.
Green
We
onions.
see that we just hit
peaches,
you with the
baby.
compliment sandwich. I gave you the thing, and then Craig swooped in and pulled you back.
Well, maybe I won't be able to be on the show that week. I love that it's happening right before I go on vacation, though.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I don't know if you were saying that sarcastically or.
well, the girl covering for me is not happy about it.
Oh, okay.
But it'll all be good.
Well, the biggest news that I feel like, especially here at the Diz Unplugged on Disboards everywhere, that everybody is always asking about is the dining plan, and it is returning. For those that don't remember, the Disney dining plan, because it's been a long time. I don't know how long it's been gone, but it's been gone for a couple of years now. But the Disney dining plan is a way for guests staying at Walt Disney World Resort hotels to prepay for their meals, essentially. When booking for 2024, guest booking a vacation package will be able to add on the dining plan for the entire length of stay and for your entire party beginning January 9th, 2024. And just to be clear, this means you're paying for your dining. It's not a free Disney dining plan promotion or anything like that. The Disney quick service dining plan and the Disney dining plan will both be offered. The quick service plan entitles guests to 2 quick service meals per night and 1 snack/non-alcoholic drink per night of their package stay, along with 1 resort refillable drink mug. Beverages are included with each meal. Guests under 21 years of age may choose from a variety of non-alcoholic beverages, and guests 21 and older with valid identification may substitute beer, wine, and cocktails. The regular dining plan entitles guests to 1 table service meal per night, which is an entree and a dessert, 1 quick service meal per night, and 1 snack and non-alcoholic drink, or 1 snack or non-alcoholic drink per night of their package stay, along with 1 resort refillable mug. Like the quick service plan, beverages are included with each meal. Guests under 21 years of age may choose from a variety of non-alcoholic beverages. 21 and older with valid identification may substitute the beer, wine, and cocktails. And also important to note, 2 table service meals will be redeemed from the dining plan for each person dining at a fine dining or signature dining location, select character dining experiences, or a dinner show. So if you're going to like Hoop-de-Doo, that's 2 per person. Not returning for now, at least, is the Disney Dining Plan Plus, which added flexibility with 2 meals at either table service or quick service restaurants, 2 snacks and the mug, as well as the Deluxe Disney Dining Plan, which included 3 meals per day, 2 snacks and the mug. That one was like...
That one was intense. It was like you're just going from meal to meal.
There's no
all
sleeping
day
in
long.
on with that
There's
one.
nothing.
Yeah. You're
I've
up
done
for
it.
breakfast.
It's just like, okay, this is too much.
Yeah.
Eat, Papa. Keep
Eat,
eating.
Papa.
Keep eating.
The pricing will surely go up from where it was the last time that it was offered, but the quick service was previously $55 for adults and $26 for children, and the regular version was $78 for adults and $30 for children. Tips aren't included in the price of the dining plan. So
That's per day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I never stayed on property when I was a kid, so I don't have like a ton of firsthand experience. But when I was like a cast member, you'd meet a lot of people that were doing it, or like friends and family would come down and they would do like I remember my aunt came the one and only time she's been to Disney with my cousin, and they did like a graduation trip for him, and I think they did the one that was the sit down and the quick service, and I remember it was a struggle for them to even keep. Like in the end, I think they had to like cash out, and they ended up with a ton of snacks.
Oh,
and
we
stuff.
did that as a family and went home with bags and bags. I remember Pop Century. Get more snacks. We had too many snacks, and we just took them all home, and that's what I fed my children for the next week.
Yeah. They left them with me, and I had a lot of Rice Krispie treats.
Right.
It was fine. I was happy. It was good.
I mean, this is awesome news because in general, I mean, I think I might have said it on the show. I know for sure that Pete thought that the dining plan was gone forever, and I believe I felt that way too, even though, Disney said, I believe it was sometime during the last calendar year, that yes, the dining plan is still going to come back at some point in time, and they kept up with printing the dining plan logo on menus so that way, it could never fully be erased from the back of your mind with it. But it's now going to be coming back in the start of January there, which, I mean, it's what I'm assuming with this, when I was talking to Disney about it yesterday, I didn't ask fully all the questions I wanted to, but I'm assuming that the reason why it's January 9th and not January 1st is because if people check in on the 31st with a 10-day ticket, then technically anything like that wouldn't be able to start fresh until the 9th. So kind of a fairness factor for it. But honestly, I think the dining plan is a good thing for people who do truly want to just disconnect with their credit cards in a way and only have to be like, hey, I know that I have these to use and I've already prepaid for all my meals. I think it's a great thing for that. And then honestly too, it's with the pricing on it, we don't know what the new pricing is going to be, but some of the more restaurant reviews we do, especially with these table service ones, not counting the signature ones that of course are expensive, but there's some very expensive entrees even on some of these other menus. And there's some places where I feel like you're going to get ripped off. We just did the Mama Melrose review a couple weeks ago, and I feel like the most expensive entree there was $32, and then add on a dessert. That's not a lot of money. But then once you factor in the drink, throw alcohol on, it all starts adding up. I truly believe you have to screw up or truly not be interested in some of the more expensive menu options, but that's the only way you're going to ever lose money on it. But you can come out ahead with it.
Do you think they'll limit some things off the menu that won't be available for the dining?
I don't know why they would do that. I know.
Okay.
So this is where I struggle with the dining plan in general. We used it a lot on our vacations when we were still coming down from Pennsylvania, and we were always a huge fan of it. But like I still remember back in the days where entree or appetizers were included in it too, and that was you ate a lot of food, but that was my favorite thing because I will always want to order an appetizer, but I always don't want dessert. So that's one of the things that definitely pushes me away from the current program of the dining plan. Dessert's fine. I would rather go savory over the ending it off with a sweet item. But I know a lot of people used to complain about how the food at Walt Disney World table service restaurants used to be so much better, and then everyone blamed the dining plan for dumbing down the menus and then whittling down the menus, and then it all became about let's get people in and out of the restaurant faster so we can get more people through who do have the dining plan. And I as someone who was coming down using it, I could definitely see why that would make sense, but I also don't have a lot of great memories of the mid 2000s and what the food quality was like, because I was a college kid and anything I could get my hands on to eat tasted really good.
So good. You remember
especially,
you know what I miss? Our taste buds of our youth.
I know.
Oh my, okay.
When you didn't have to put hot sauce on everything.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's kind of what I do now.
So do
And
you think free dining's following behind in the fall, maybe?
only if they need it?
Right.
I mean, if they're still having the
If they
problems,
need
because
it.
we know that Disney tried to entice people in with the Disney dining card is like, hey, we're not bringing back the dining plan yet. We'll do this. We know that summer of 2023 is light. This is something, the dining plan coming back is something they wanted to do inevitably anyway. So I just think it was about finding the right time. And what better time is than just to launch it right at the beginning of a new year, so that way it's more fair in the mind. So, I mean, it would be great if they launched it right now for all the people who have vacations coming up. But
that
in
would
my
be a
brain,
nightmare.
it makes more sense to just start it
Right.
at the
That makes
beginning
sense. Yeah. I
of
like
a
that
new
they're
year
doing
with it. And, if things are still soft next year, which they very well could be, then I would say maybe they'll start exploring that option, but you have to get people back in and then see what the new demand is for it. Will it be similar to the current, the previous demand that it used to have, and will it still have the same fans from before? Are those some of the people who have abandoned Disney? Will it catch on with new people? We don't know where the economy is going with it. If people are starting to be a little bit stricter about how they spend their money on vacations, they might not want to prepay for meals ahead of time, thinking maybe I can save more money while I'm there if I'm a little bit smarter with how I'm eating and dining around property.
Especially with like the prices of like tickets and things like that have kind of ballooned up a little bit over the last couple of years. It makes it a little tough. But can I ask you, like, at that previous pricing, do you think that it's worth it? I mean, I like that you get a resort mug and stuff like that, but looking at this price for me, I don't know, for 2 meals, I feel like I could eat under this price a day.
Yeah, you absolutely can. I think it was right there in terms of pricing. Again, just based on some of the recent reviews we've done, like, not to just beat down on Mama Melrose's, but I feel like the lasagna I got there was only like $24, so not a lot of money. But then once you factor in a $10 dessert and a $9 drink on there right away, you're up above $40 on that. And then with the one snack, your snack's around $6, so $45. Quick service plus a drink, you're right around the $20 mark. So then you're up around you're up around 66 the mug. So yeah, you can definitely do bad in terms of coming in under if you're choosing cheaper options. But I feel like if you look at the menus for the restaurants and like, hey, this is going to be a one table service place, and I'm definitely thinking about this item, and those entree prices are all in the mid, like right at the $30 level and up, that's at the point that I feel like you're going to start breaking a lot more even and starting to actually see savings on it.
But what
a lot
you
more.
said earlier, the beauty of not having to worry.
Yes.
You've prepaid.
Yeah.
And it's out of your pocket. It's already gone. you know.
That's what I've been hearing.
They don't have to worry about it.
I've never used it, but I've been watching people's responses to this, and I've seen a lot of, oh, well, now I'm going to come visit in 2024. That's what I've seen a lot of. And I've seen a lot of, I'm so happy this is coming back. It benefits my family. And I spoke to one of my friends about it, and she said every time we visited, that's what we used to do. And it was very helpful for them. Because I only lived 3 hours away to travel here, we didn't really look into that. But I know this is going to be something people are really excited about. You can already see it. And I think it's going to bring in some more people. And I'm just glad that it's something people are like, it feels like that Disney again. It feels like things are coming back together. And I'm just excited for the people that benefit from this, for them to have that again.
And families will benefit.
Yeah.
You got to feed all those kids, you know.
Well, I can't even fathom having to make making plans just for like me and like one other person. Is
Who do you
too much.
feed? Only feed one child a day, you know.
This child right here, me.
Sometimes.
But I, as somebody who's an anxious traveler, I can also see the benefit in being like, okay, now we make our reservations, we know where we're going, so that's how we can stick ourselves to a schedule a little bit better. I like to just. I was going to say free ball it, but that was not the appropriate.
That's not.
That's not the right. That's free-hand it. Free. What am I?
Flying by the seat of your pants.
Yes, that's what I like to do.
That's what we would do, yes.
Well, I know people are excited about the dining. Sorry,
Yeah.
did you have another thing to say about that?
The only thing I am very excited to see with it, which we will have to wait until fall, is I want to see how it's going to impact restaurant availability, because
Yeah, that's my fear.
right now, we were at a busy time with spring break, and it's really slowed down since then, and restaurants have been very easy to come by as of lately, and we don't know how that's going to play out in the future. Right now, I think it's definitely slow because there's just not as many guests necessarily as coming. But if there is a big influx back, I want to know how it's going to impact getting those dining reservations. Is it going to go back to a method where, for a lot of restaurants, you need to really be thinking about that mark out in time where you can start booking reservations. It's always a thing for the bigger restaurants, the more popular ones, but will it start impacting some of the lesser desired ones? Like, we all know that Nine Dragons is still going to be easy to get a reservation for day of, and some of those ones, but that would be the one downside to bringing it back that I could see, because I don't think right now it's a thing that people aren't dining at the restaurants because the dining plan doesn't exist. I just think it's because of the crowd levels, and if this drives people back to Walt Disney World and the hotels, then it's better for Disney's outcome, but maybe not as great for guests if it goes back to feeling like nonstop miserable, too many people, et cetera, et cetera.
Well,
I'm done.
It's okay, because I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's also a little complicated. I think that is part of it too, and I think having this many people need to book stuff out is going to complicate it even more for people who already don't want to deal with the complicated factor. Like, I wish there was more walk-up dining for sit-down restaurants at Walt Disney World. I wish there was more of a percentage left for people that do that. And I understand that it could be very small, and I don't know the numbers. So anyway, but speaking of another thing that people hate, that's kind of going away, kind of not really going away, the theme park reservations. They're not going away completely, but they are for date-based tickets. So starting with park visits on January 9th, 2024, theme park reservations won't be required for date-based tickets. Date-based tickets are your standard ticket options, whereas non-dated tickets would be annual passes, cast member passes, and tickets usually sold to convention groups, sports teams, and things like that. If you don't fall into those last three options, you bought or will buy a date-based ticket. Disney says reservations for non-dated tickets will allow them to help continue managing attendance and delivering a great experience for everyone. I feel like this is literally what they say about every single thing, is that's their tail end catchphrase. Like, it's the thing you add the signature to the email. But I just had friends from home who aren't super big Disney people who were here because he's a gymnastics coach, and one of the girls from his gym was competing down here this weekend, and they were like, he told me Friday they were going to go to Epcot on Saturday. That's what they were thinking about, just like buying a one-day ticket and going around and like where should they eat and stuff. And I gave them some options where I was like, these are good. I was like, but you're going to need to check your app now and make a reservation. And then I was like, you need to make sure that you have the right ticket or whatever. all said and done, he spent $500 for them to go. I don't even think they went to the park till after 4 because he bought it like when they got there, and I was like, and it was like $160 a ticket and $500. And then I texted him at 9:30 because I was at another friend's birthday party downtown, and I was like, "Oh, would you guys end up eating? You know, like you could come hang out." And they were like, "We didn't." I'm like, okay, they drank around the world, so they went and did what they did. But their impression is you paid to get in and then had to pay for every single thing while you're in there. And I was like, well, for the drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I do, I miss the days of like an afternoon. Remember Epcot had like that afternoon thing years ago? There was like a
like the after 4 pass.
yeah, after 4 o'clock or whatever. And I just think to myself, I'm like, he like sent me a screenshot of his tickets because on the ticket it said reservations. Reservations maxed out for this ticket or something like that. So it looked like an alert, like a caution symbol or whatever. And he was like, "What is this? What does this mean?" And I'm thinking he bought them at the ticket window, or he must have bought them in online or something. But I was like, it just means that you bought them for Epcot for that day and you can't go anywhere else. Like that's
Right.
where you're going. I was like, but I understand your.
This whole doing away with park reservations for the only specific tickets that are included in a package with your dining.
Yeah.
They want it all inclusive. They want you to do the whole thing. And then the rest of us are just, get what's left.
I mean, for all tickets, basically, except for annual passes.
Right.
So unless, again, you fall into one of those weird categories where it's like, oh, I'm with a convention group and they were offering tickets that aren't date-based, and we can use them one of the days that we're here for that. But beyond that, this is huge. I know it's not park hopping because that's the one thing I asked Disney when they were telling me all about this, and I was like, so park hopping is going away? And they're like, nope, that is staying the exact same. So
You mean the time limit on the time frame?
yeah, in terms of there being like
2 p.m.
right now 2 p.m. is when you can park hop to other places. That is still going to be in place unless that is another change they make sometime in the future before this all goes into effect. But as of right now, they are holding strong on that 2 p.m. park hopping time. But beyond that, it's nice to now know if you buy a 1-day ticket for a date, a 5-day ticket, whatever, you just know that right there it's open. It's don't have to worry about reservations anymore. I mean, it is a huge victory into getting things back to what they were before the pandemic. And it sucks that we're not, we don't get it for annual passes. We still technically have that in a way after 2 o'clock. But it's good for them. I know when they made the announcement about the after 2, no reservations for annual pass holders, there was a lot of people just with regular tickets who were also annoyed, like, why don't we get anything out of it? Well, here you go. Now you do, and that's great.
If somebody comes down and they buy a 4-day park ticket, they can just wake up and go to whatever park they want to, right? That's essentially what they're saying. Okay. I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, so they just lifted like a whole level of stress off of those people's shoulders.
Yeah, 100%.
Because a lot of people were struggling with like getting the parks they wanted or struggling with the planning situation. It was just like another layer added to the struggle.
Now we got to plan the dining more.
Well, I always think like, but what you come down here and you ended up at Epcot day 1 and it wasn't everything you wanted it to be, so you decide like, tomorrow I want to do Hollywood Studios, and then you fall in love with it and you want to go again. So it takes that element too, or at least like tomorrow you can wake up and be like, well, let's go to Epcot, let's go to Hollywood Studios again or whatever.
Adds like a little bit of freedom, which is good.
Yeah, it's something you should definitely have on your very expensive vacation.
Yeah.
But annual pass holders and cast members who may be left out of the No More Reservation Fund, they still are going to have what they call Good to Go days starting in 2024. These are the days in which pass holders and cast members may visit without needing reservations. This is in addition to the no reservation needed after 2 p.m. that Craig was talking about, with the exception of Magic Kingdom on the weekends. Good to Go days may vary by park, and pass blockout dates and capacity limitations will continue to apply. This is essentially the next generation of bonus days where pass holders can book a reservation for a theme park on some days without it applying to their total reservations. I feel like in addition to this, I'd be even happier if I understand the limitation on the park hopping, I guess, sort of, because it's like we got to figure out how many people are coming in, what's the trend or whatever. I just wish it was a little earlier than 2 p.m. Especially because, like, like Animal Kingdom, it's not open super late and stuff like that. But then also, like, what if you do start a day and you finish what you were doing so early? Like, I forgot where we were doing something the other day, and I went and I was done, and it was like 11:30, and I was like, great, I have like 3 hours now before I can go to the other park. So I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna go somewhere else, and then like I'll come back. And it was like one of those weird where I was like, that was the first time it had like really, really happened to me.
Yeah, but that's also the local mentality. I mean, how my family would always visit is we would wake up, rope drop and go as long as we could in the morning, have lunch. And then at that point, we would do the standard go back to your hotel and take a little bit of a break before you get ready for dinner, and then go back out, have dinner, and then close out a park for the rest of the night. And so with that, something like park hopping doesn't come into play. It really, and you know what, if you are staying in a park nonstop because you want to get so much stuff done, I still don't think it's necessarily, the time isn't a bad time. Do wish it was earlier? Yeah, but I can understand the logic. I am going to say, it was earlier when I was at Disneyland. It's 1 o'clock there. And you'd also just can go whatever park you want after the reservation. 2 different places, though.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is I rope dropped every day that I was there, which I don't normally do. And there was more than one time where I was like, I want to go to the other park now because I want to go do the other stuff, because I paid for Genie Plus like one of the days. And I was like, okay, done with this stuff. And I was like, I want to move over now. And it has that little bit of a limitation that sometimes you hit a wall with. So I don't think it's exclusive to annual pass holder. I get what you're saying about it being a local mentality, but I think there are people who are like your family or something, who come down and they are so well planned out and things like that sometimes you get that. But
again, for me personally, I understand why it's 2 o'clock. I wish it wasn't. I would be very happy if it was noon. Even 1 o'clock most days feels like it would make a world of difference. But also right now with the dumb virtual queues for some of the popular attractions that are new, that also plays into it too.
It's true. You're stuck in those parks for whether you get one or whether you need to go get one. Yeah.
Yeah. So it maybe one day, if virtual queues aren't necessarily as much of a thing anymore, that will start to have more of an impact. We'll have to wait and see on that. But you know what? In terms of this, honestly, what I want to know as an annual pass holder with it is, how far in advance are we going to know what these good to go dates are? Will they just randomly change too? So like we have all these plans for like, I'm going to visit that day. It's a good to go day. And then all of a sudden you pull up the calendar and it's no longer a good to go date anymore.
Oh, I can't.
Is that going to happen?
I can't imagine him doing that.
I can't. You know what though? Stranger things have happened. And so that's where I'm like, with this, why not just keep bonus reservations and be like, okay, it's there. All I have to do is 2 more steps. I have to click the date, and then I have to accept the COVID waiver, and then I have it.
There's a lot.
Or like make more bonus reservations available.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot this month. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
There was like a ton of stars on there, and I was like, oh.
And I think that's what's going to happen with the good to go days. Like, I think what they're going to do is make more, and then the days that are going to have to be like, you have to have a reservation, are going to be those days that they're anticipating a lot of people coming to the parks, holiday weekends, stuff like that.
And they'll know by the time people start booking packages and stuff. They'll know.
Yeah.
That's true, too.
It's all numbers. It's all numbers. It's a numbers game for that.
Just bumming me out, though, that we probably won't see the park reservations end for annual pass holders then until 2025, if ever.
I was going to say if ever, because honestly, I you know what my mind always comes back to when we talk about getting rid of those is like, the big, I know it for a sec, it feels rare because we'd say, well, I mean, Craig's worked in the theme park before, and Erica, obviously you, but those like Christmas days. I remember being there and them being like, well, Magic Kingdom just hit phase 1 capacity, phase 2 capacity. And I think post-pandemic, like a little bit before we're at right now, when we had that big wave of people that were coming, and we kind of saw that we still see every now and then days where you're like, that park's full for reservations. And I think like that's their way of being able to control annual pass holders so that the average like regular guest who's coming on their vacation can still have this experience that they always quote at the end of their emails that I said was the signature whatever. So I feel like it could be a thing that they will always be in there. The thing that's going to get weird though with what I just read in here is that like knowing now you kind of have to know whether you need the reservation or you don't need the reservation. What the like it's this learning thing that's is constantly evolving and changing, and that's okay. But it's about when it happens, like Teresa, you said, when it changes day of, when it starts to change, when the good to go day doesn't become a good to go day, or that other park, like I feel like there's a small element in here where it could potentially get a little sticky sometimes or whatever. So it's like you really need that phone and know how to use your annual pass to be able to. It's like you need a smartphone in order to be an annual pass holder and know how to use it and know how to use the app well.
Right.
Feels a little alienating, but anyway, I'm happy to see that cast members are included in that too, because I really feel like they kind of get the short end of the stick for a lot of that stuff when they shouldn't, because they're the people that run the place. But as for hotel guests, Disney will continue to offer early theme park entry through 2024 every day across all 4 theme parks, which gives you an extra 30 minutes in the park. Extended evening hours will also be continued for Deluxe Disney Hotel, DVC, and Swan and Dolphin Swan Reserve guests, which gives you 2 hours extra inside a park. But this perk isn't daily, like early entry. To access these extra hours events, you need your theme park entry and resort ID. I think 30 minutes is still kind of laughable, but at the same time, I also think it could make a huge difference if you're trying to rope drop a new ride that doesn't have a virtual queue, or the popular Rise of the Resistance. You know what I mean? Being able to be there in that first 30 minutes with less people in the park, being able to get in that and get that over and done with in 20 minutes instead of an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think it helps incorporate that walk time to get to wherever you're going to. Mm-hmm. So, you have those 30 minutes to walk. You'll be there before anyone else.
It's the people who can run the marathon in a 9.5 minute mile versus the 11.5 minute.
Yes.
That's what I feel like it is. It's a corral.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, it's nice that they brought it back.
Well, keeping it. So
yeah,
it's one of those things if it got removed and all of a sudden you no longer had early park entry or extended hours at night, and your only option for that kind of an extended hour was a Disney after hours or a party, that's kind of crappy. So it's it could be better. It could be all hotel guests go back to having longer extended hours, evening magic hours and stuff, but it's staying. It's not something being taken away. So I hate that we're at this point where we have to clap for something staying around and not being removed.
Yeah, right.
But that's where we're at.
Feels yeah.
Congratulations, it's not being taken away. Good job, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? All the water fountains at Walt Disney World, they're staying.
Oh, amazing.
Congratulations. Isn't that great?
Those are the one thing that should go. And replace it with better fountains.
Yeah. Well, I would love more water refill stations. But whatever.
The ones for the water bottles. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want more of those.
Well, they ain't going to make money on those, so. Finally, Disney is going to simplify the Genie Plus experience and individual lightning lanes, and they'll do this by working on ways to allow guests to plan these experiences before the day of their park visit. This sounds a little familiar to me. This should be in effect sometime in 2024, and details are still to come. So it sounds like that thing that happened when we all cut the cord for cable, and Netflix and Hulu came out, and then there was an app, and eventually we circled back around into paying more for the apps than we were for cable. Well, now we're back to FastPass Plus with paying it for it now, and it's I know there are people in our lives that are going to be very happy about this, because this was a big thing. Again, we talked about the dining, that planning aspect of it for them. The people that it's going to really suck for are the people who won our annual pass holders, and that's fine. I understand that. But the people who don't know what they're doing until the week before, a month before. We don't know a time frame, but that was my problem with FastPass Plus. It was I'm never going to get to ride this because the fast passes are gone 120 days or whatever it was for hotel guests and blah blah blah. But I think this will be good for people for planning vacations for sure. Yeah,
Again, it actually shows that they are listening to complaints.
Yeah.
I mean, they're listening to some of the complaints. They're still missing the ones we would rather have this for free, or we'd rather have something different. They're choosing to hear some aspects and making changes for it. So, good for them.
Yeah, here we are. Golf clapping again. Yes. It's fine. Whatever. Going back to dining, Disney communities spent a lot of time over the past week discussing the changes that occurred with dining reservations at Walt Disney World. So Disney's changed the cancellation policy back in November, if you remember, and it was a good move by allowing guests to cancel most dining reservations up to 2 hours in advance without any fees rather than 24 hours in advance. Once you were in the 2-hour window, you had the option to modify your reservation, but you couldn't cancel it without incurring a $10 per person fee unless you were able to talk to someone nice and understanding. Now restaurants are not allowing modifications within 2 hours of the reservation time. This means you must cancel or modify your reservation at least 2 hours prior to your dining time, or you will most likely be charged the $10 per person fee, again, unless you happen to speak to a cast member who goes the extra mile to help with your issue, which somebody's sick in the group. That's what I always am like, oh, sorry. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm sure they were having issues at resorts with people parking and modifying the thing, because I saw it. I saw a lot of chatter about that on the internet, and I was like, okay, well, yeah, we can't have nice things. You broke the rule. But it does suck a little bit, because it is one of those where it's like, the thing about Florida is the weather can turn on a dime any second here, and sometimes I think there's like that aspect that I wish we rolled into the planning in Walt Disney World a little bit more, and maybe that's what we're driving toward with all these changes. But something like that is like, you get stuck, like if you're in Magic Kingdom and it just starts lightning and downpouring, the reality that you're going to be able to, you've already partitioned out your time in planning to get to, like, let's say another park or Disney Springs, but now everybody's either leaving or some stuff's down because of the lightning. Like, it really does have this like domino effect on the rest of the day that sometimes can be difficult. But again, it's Walt Disney World. I'm sure there's going to be some accommodation.
Yeah, potentially there could be accommodation.
Hopefully.
This one sucks for me in particular. And listen, I will fully admit I have abused the policy before, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I've never been one of those a-holes out there who knew that they had to be in a park at a specific time and was like, okay, Grand Floridian Cafe, I'll make a reservation for there, and then I'll modify it. I'll buy a drink on my way back out to, at least feel like I redeemed myself a little bit from it. But yes, I've done it. I know it's wrong to do. I probably took a parking spot away from someone who was just starting their vacation looking for a place to park, and I will repent for those sins later on in my life. But I also cannot count how many times that policy has come in handy for me, because something has come up in that last hour where it's like, okay, yeah, this is happening. Because like if you pop a tire, for us in our particular circumstances, pass holders, you pop a tire on the way in or run into just any issue with life, and then it's like, okay, well, if I'm dealing with this, I also don't want to get on the phone with Disney and plead my case of why, like, hey, can you move this or just cancel it for me and waive it for me? Like, it is one of those things. Yes, people absolutely would abuse it, and I'm not saying they should have went the other direction and said, you know what, for the boardwalk area hotels and for the monorail hotels, with those ones, best thing you could do for that is, make a guard gate that actually does rely on paying to park and charge an astronomical fee of like $40 to park there if you're not a resort guest, and then it can be waived
like
if
Universal
you
Studios.
I know, that's what I mean with it. Like, park and pay an astronomical fee for it, $50, $60, whatever, and they promise that you'll get, if you show your receipt on the way out, just like you would with valet, then they'll let you go without paying for it. Like, yeah, they could do that route with it, but yeah, this is one that I know will impact me. So now I feel like I'm going to have to be extra careful, because I know I will screw up. I will see those charges on my credit card for forgetting to modify something that I have on my plans when I'm not looking.
Well, clearly, we're not. I'm sure everybody was doing it, because it probably changed. It probably left some restaurants not knowing. It comes down to that factor of there's so many people here and so many moving parts and so many different. It's annual pass holders, it's cast members, it's people that are here on the vacation, that so many moving parts of something could go wrong. Somebody could be abusing the system at the same time. Well, another thing, so a restaurant, I'm sure, could have ended up with like a half full restaurant that could have been full and then that falls back into like, well, why don't you allow walk-ups then too? You know what I mean? And that's it's sort of this weird thing, but I'm sure it'll change a little bit again.
Yeah.
And again.
The only thing I'll say with it too is that like when stuff like that happens, you kind of rely and hope that you'll get a cast member who's willing to bend the rules, but at the same time too, like the policy is there for a reason, and they have to do it out of the kindness of their heart. And there's been a lot of examples that I've had lately where cast members seem to be making up imaginary rules that I've never experienced or heard of before and deciding to enforce them in the moment. So like I would never have any hope that at this point that I would get someone who's willing to bend the rules and be like, yeah, I can modify it for you because I understand there's an emergency. So
there has to be rules so we can bend them. But
just to be able to bend them. Yeah.
But that's with everything. You make a doctor's appointment, but you can't go. They're going to charge you if you don't call. And, it's
well,
the
yeah,
same
haircut,
everywhere.
the same thing. I was thinking about a haircut because it's happened. My barber doesn't do it, which is nice, but he's gonna do it eventually because it's just basically like you can go in through this app and change it like up to the minute before, essentially. And I was like, that's gonna suck for somebody who's like really because he books
They're counting
the
on
full
that.
day, yeah.
Right.
And now you've left them with an hour or two, and also that's like $50 that's not in their pocket now
Right.
that would have been in their pocket. So
make
you're
the
like,
rule, bend the rule.
yeah.
want
But
that
then
on a
people
shirt.
get sick. You know what I mean? People get sick
Yeah.
or something happens or maybe you saw something that you didn't know you were going to see and you're like, oh no, we all ate ice cream sundaes at 3:00 and we forgot we had dining at 4:30. And it's like, I don't know that people should be charged for that. So it's a tough, I don't know.
Sucks. It's life.
That's life. Okay. So we're going to move on to our rapid fires here. And I'm going to start with surprise, Erica.
Hi.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Erica.
Okay. look at the beautiful picture. For those of you listening, we are looking
I
at
saw
this
this.
new Advent Health ER that is coming to the Flamingo Crossing area, which is behind
Everything
Disney.
in Flamingo Crossing.
Yep. And if you're not familiar with that area, that is where the Disney College Program housing is. And this ER is themed towards different Disney characters. The one we're seeing right now, there are some beautiful, I would say like a nice green sea color of fish swimming up. And you can see Marlin and Nemo at the top. And then there's other parts of the ER that show like Moana and Maui. And it's just, they said that people visiting Central Florida, cast members and residents can all visit this ER. It's going to be very close. Like I'm telling you, probably 10 minutes from like the Animal Kingdom area. Wow. It's very close. And just in case, you sprain an ankle, you can go here. You're not feeling too good. There's a few hotels in that area. So if you're staying there and something happens, you have an ER. I go to this area a lot and I actually saw them like start building it and stuff. And so, just in case you need it, now you know that's going to be there. Again, that is near the Disney College Program housing in Flamingo's Crossing.
They got breweries. They got restaurants.
Yeah, they're opening a Lime.
The Lime is the one where I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I love Lime.
It's a very good place. So there's a lot in that area, and if something were to happen to you, I hope nothing happens to you, but you'll have an ER right there.
If you have too many margaritas
And
at
you
Lime,
stumble a
just
little?
stumble over. You
Yeah.
got help right there. But I'm going to tell you right now, don't go to that Target. It's god awful.
Oh,
it's like
it's so
a CVS
small.
version of a Target. It's
Yeah,
the smallest
it's like a
Target I've
little
ever seen in my
lunchbox.
life.
It's for the college programmers.
They don't even
mostly,
have toys.
And the
Oh, they have
people
toys.
staying at the hotels. What I was going to say though, it's great that they're putting this ER there. Don't go there once it opens up because if you've ever tried to leave Western Way, unless you're like at the very end of the night or your first thing in the morning, anytime really during
it's
the rest of
terrible.
the day, it is so backed up. So if you have an emergency, I'm gonna give better advice. Go up and out behind Magic Kingdom, and just there's a couple little like Centricares and stuff that are right up in that area, as well as hospitals. You'll get there a lot faster than, especially if it's like between the hours of 12 and 6 o'clock, trying to go out of Western Way to get to Flamingo Crossing. It's just a parking lot.
They probably should have brought, honestly, that road structure over there, they probably should have made a flyover to go into there because it's like, again, and you'll see it everywhere in Florida. It's coming pretty quick. They're building the land too quick, and they're not building the roads to follow with the amount of the stuff that's going in there. And that whole strip down there is just going to get worse until they do something about it. But thank you, Erica.
You're welcome.
Teresa.
Hi.
Hi, I'm
here too.
Teresa.
All right. Disney Magic has returned from a 3-week dry dock, and they've got some new fun things. New family-friendly experiences on board Rhino, inspired by Walt Disney Animation Studios' Encanto and Disney and Pixar's Soul. New immersive experiences, an Encanto celebration, give guests the opportunity to meet and take photos with Mirabelle and Bruno.
Oh,
I know,
Bruno.
right?
Yeah.
Love me some Bruno. We don't talk about him, though.
No.
But we do love him. Create butterfly and flower crafts inspired by the film. Guests can enjoy a selection of local Colombian beers, cocktails, and sodas, because the Colombian beers and cocktails are family-friendly, I'm sure, along with film-inspired mocktails.
That's good.
During the show. Also, replacing the Promenade Lounge is the brand new Soul Cat Lounge. This one looks exciting.
Yeah,
to me.
I'm excited for this.
The reimagined space was created to look like Joe Gardner's favorite music spot from Soul and Half Note Lounge. The space will instantly transport guests to a classic New York jazz club. A lot of good appointments, brick walls, wood accents, plenty of rich leather as opposed to cheap leather seating around the stage, set for live music. Lots of things to look at. Ages 21 and over can enjoy tableside Manhattans and martinis as they choose from a variety of native brews and bros, and cocktails made from New York spirits. Mocktails, especially coffees and sodas, are also on the menu. So lots of cool things, eh?
What ship has the Tiana's bar in it? Not the one on the
That's
Wish.
the Wonder.
The Wonder, because Craig, we were on there for something.
Alaska. And then you were on there for Puerto Rico before.
Yeah, but it was recently, and I was with you, and I think
Alaska
it
still.
was Elaine, and
What
so
about
was
it?
the Alaska one. I was just saying the jazz one reminds me of that.
Oh, okay.
That same kind of vibe, because they also had a great musician, and it was finally on the ship I had like a good cocktail, because my complaint sometimes, which isn't true for all Disney ships and all Disney customers or anything like that, but they're just people that work at the bar. They're not bartenders, and then sometimes they have actual bartenders, and then that's when you know you're like
They're
getting
just
a
people that work
good
at the
drink.
bar.
Like there's people sometimes read from a piece of paper and know how to make a drink that way, and then there's people who've been trained to make a drink.
Like Isaac on the Love Boat. He was at every friggin' bar on that ship.
Yeah.
And the only bartender.
That's more of a kind of, as cocktails have become more and more of extravagant over the years, that now there is like, you have your craft cocktail makers, and then you have bartenders, and then, you know, sometimes it feels like there's a barback who's just supposed to refill the ice that sometimes has to step in and start making drinks, Magical Star Cocktail X's and such. But yeah, I wish Disney ships would invest in a little bit more of like the craft cocktail makers.
I would
like
love
they
that
have
as like
in the
a
Hooks
lounge.
Barbary.
Yeah,
on the
something
Wish.
like that, but expand it. Like a larger space that you can sit in where it doesn't feel like I'm just
want
watching
someone
John
to listen to
Magi
my
get shaved.
problems. Aren't they supposed to listen to my problems?
Well, McMouse and the Spaceship.
Yeah.
That's what
I
said
don't think
earlier.
it's the 1930s anymore,
Okay.
but it's
Oh,
okay.
in the lounge.
Yeah, you know, the bartender.
Like a saloon, you want them to have the
want someone
rag
to
and the
listen
thing.
to
Yeah, God, I'd
the
be
rag.
honestly, I'd be into that.
Just
Like,
wipe the counter clean and listen to my problems. You know, that's all I need.
what do those shoes say? Nikkei. That's Back to the Future 3. Anyway, Craig, what do you got?
Yeah, so Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 released over the weekend, and if you haven't gone out and seen it yet, what are you waiting for? Unless the theaters are all sold out around your area.
This is when my husband actually said, we need to go to the theater to
You
see
should.
this.
It's very good. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it on the after show a little bit, but in general, yes, go see it. Go see it. Catch up on Guardians and go see it. But Disney Parks got in on the Guardians 3 action. Over at Disneyland, Mantis is being added to she's already part of the dance off that happens in front of Mission Breakout, and
she's enjoying life.
She is. I chose a grainy still image from the TikTok rather than one of the ones where her headpiece is peeling off in the warm Disneyland Suns. So I felt like that was the better move. But outside of like Mantis being added to that, they're also going to have plenty of unique food and beverage options, especially over at Disneyland. But even here in Walt Disney World, like Connections Cafe has the perfect Sovereign waffle bites and the little special cookie that they're having.
Okay.
So, you know, they get a little bit too. But
I love that, like, if you look at the list of everything that Disneyland got versus what Walt Disney World got, they broke up a Liege waffle here, and then we got a cookie.
yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck? There they got like a sipper, new character, new food items, new drinks. I'm just like, and
We
I've
got a
gotten the
cookie?
sipper from
We got
the
a
movie.
cookie.
They don't got a cookie though.
Well, we
They
got
don't
a-
got a cookie. We got them cookie. They got us cookie. That's like the third New Girl reference I've made in this one episode.
Wow.
But I love that about Disneyland. Speaking of our trip, so this is, you know, we're going there in August. Obviously, all of us, and you'll get to experience this, Erica. But every time there's like anything new Marvel, like the next day it's out there. Like they've got the character, they've got food. It always feels like, oh, this is where it's alive, like that sort of a thing. And I get it. They don't really need to do that here, I guess, and whatever. I'm not bitter about it.
Better much. Party of one.
My friend Jill was just there though, and on the day it all came out, and she got me the sipper that Rocket drinks out of in the movie is what they had there, and I was like, "Can you get this for me, please? Thank you." So I'm excited, but we have one more thing to say before we go, but it wasn't really worth discussing too much, so we saved it for the very end here. And it's just a little update on the weekly Disney versus Ronald Dion DeSantis news update, which is that Deadline is reporting that Disney has amended their lawsuit. The amended suit noted two actions in particular: legislation that gives the state oversight over monorail inspections, and the bill to ultimately void the development agreement. I also believe the amended lawsuit included quotes from him recently, like a week or two ago, that basically said that he admitted it was retaliation. So I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk more about it in the future, but it is all on there. If you want to check it out and read it for yourself, you can check out the updated like verbiage on that and everything like that. And it seems like just something that's probably going to go on for a while. So we'll probably talk about it again.
It probably is. And I actually have literal breaking news.
Ooh, exciting. Hold on. Do you have the drum roll sound up?
I don't have that up. Tokyo Dining isn't coming back. It's been over at the Epcot
In
Pavilion
Japan.
and
Oh,
World
really?
Showcase. It's been under
Oh, yeah, the
we saw
Epcot
construction and such lately. We saw it during our Tepa and Edo review that you can go and watch. Coming this summer is going to be... I do not know how to pronounce this, and I haven't had time to run it through a translator. So I believe it would be something around like shiki sai and sushi izakaya. I know I just really butchered that, but that's going to be a very confusing name for a lot of people. I'm sitting here saying if I'm struggling to say it, a lot of people are probably going to struggle, but particularly I will. It looks like it's going to be much higher end sushi than what they already had at
Nice.
Tokyo Dining before, and what you could also like get kind of as additions to if you were eating it tepanado. And yeah, it's looking good. A whole bunch of
Yay.
rolls.
Do we know when in summer?
In summer. Sorry, every time someone says in summer.
It just opened the doors this summer, so not an actual
Okay.
So we have till
date
like September
on it.
21st.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah,
summer
right.
technically.
Man, this food looks incredible. I wish I could pull the images down and actually
so
show it off
excited.
right
It's like
now.
being
It looks so good. But yeah, I'm sorry for jumping in there. I know we're already past time, but
I'd rather end on a
it's-
sushi note than a lawsuit note, so that's great.
Right?
Yeah. So no more Tokyo Dining. It will now be Shiki Sai.
Well, that's fine. I like it if it's
Fine.
like a little more upscale, because you know that those restaurants have been there for like forever, so it's nice to get that little bit of a refresh.
A little bit of change.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I'm honestly, anytime there's sushi, I will like eat till I need to be rolled out, like I'm a blueberry
Yeah.
in Willy Wonka. Not blueberry.
You ever
Violet.
eaten-
is
you
what I
ever
meant.
eaten at
Violet,
Summer
it's just
Palace?
violet. No, what is that?
It's a sushi place over by Waterford.
Well, there is in Hunter's Creek, for anybody who's visiting and goes off property. There's an all-you-can-eat sushi that's like fresh to
That's
order.
what this is, all you can eat.
Okay,
yeah.
and it's like $30 or something like that. I definitely get them. They see me coming and they're
They
like,
just
"Oh no!"
opened near Disney too, one of those like conveyor belt sushi
Oh, I
places
love
where you can just like
those.
take the
I did
kind
one
of
of those
roll you
finally
They're
want.
so
recently, yeah.
fun.
It's on Vineland, like near where the
Oh,
Portillo's White Castle.
Okay.
Near that area.
That whole area that's everything seems to be
Yeah.
popping up in.
So it's next to the
That
Crumble
Target's
Cookies.
better because it
That
has a liquor
Target-
store too. It's nice.
Yes, that Target is better, but it's next to the Crumble Cookies.
I can tell you about
Ooh,
Targets anywhere
Crumble
in Central
cookies.
Florida. We can have
This
a whole
week's
thing.
flavors.
Are they
Mother-
good?
Mother
Oh my God! They
inspected.
finally opened the one in Millennia
Oh,
next to
really?
me, so I can finally like go. Yeah, although it's now like you go over there and it's like an hour to get there from my house. But
Something called Mother's Favorite. I got to go check out.
that sounds like my mother's favorite.
I know.
Norman's favorite.
For Mother's
I'll
Day.
detract from that nastiness right there. It is.
Mother's milk.
It's going to be an open sushi bar and grill, so you'll be able to see them
Ooh.
cooking and
Ooh,
rolling
I like
right
that.
there. So very
Cooking
cool. Coming
sushi.
this summer.
Cooking sushi.
Cooking.
Let's never talk
Cooking
about
and
the taste
rolling.
of mothers ever again now,
Yeah.
please.
Like, what am I, Sean Hayes on that episode
Well-
of Smart List where he talked about vanilla ice cream?
We need
Happy
to get,
Mom's Day to all the moms out there.
Yeah.
We need to get a reservation for that one.
Yeah.
Not available
You
yet.
idiot. I know, but once it is.
Heck yeah. Should probably take the dining show to the West Coast too while we're out there. That'd be.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm sure we will. Everybody's out there. We have to.
I want to be involved in that.
Yeah. Well, I like when you're
I
involved
love the
in
West
stuff,
Coast and I
Teresa.
love the dining. You don't need.
I'll
you're just
reiterate
saying
what I
that.
said in the beginning. You always make my days better when you're there.
Wow.
And there's not many people you can say that about. Erica, I'm sorry you're not one of them.
It's
I'm just
fine.
kidding.
Wow.
Sorry. You were looking
okay.
at me, and I just wanted
What
to be
about me?
honest.
What about
No,
me?
I look at people that talk, so I'm just engaged.
Erica and I had boiled peanuts last week.
We
had a
did.
wonderful.
Oh, did you
wonderful-
enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good.
It was an experience.
I like boiled peanuts.
Don't
It's
worry,
like
we'll get through all the flavors.
warm kidney beans.
I know. I
and-
want to. I was thinking about it all week. I'm like, now I need to try another flavor.
I can't. Craig's got stuff to do. I
Where'd you
think.
get boiled peanuts at?
Sideward Brewing, which is another place I recommend off Disney property. We're gonna have to do a little special episode about places that we recommend, like right off property or something like that. I don't know. Although I already do that on my own, so whatever. Never mind. Forget it. We're not doing it. I take my good idea, shove it.
Scratch that.
No. It's been wonderful. I can't believe it's already done and over with. Thank you, all of you, for being here in this room with me. And then obviously thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, if you're watching this on YouTube, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and of course leave us comments, questions, concerns, all those things. And if you are listening to this on your podcast app or whatever app you may choose, please feel free, rate and review us. You know, we can only get better if you rate and review us. So thank you, everybody. And again, don't forget, we are going to do our Patreon after show in just a few minutes after this, and you can be a part of that at patreon.com/DizUnplugged. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next week with another episode. Insert tagline here.